Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's time for the Mike and Mish show. And Mike just sat down in that chair 2 seconds before we went on there. Right, Mike? Am I right about 2 seconds?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a pretty wicked good timer guy. I'm pretty good at timing things.
Cheeks to seat. 1 second before I brought you on, before our faces hit the screen, Mike's ass cheeks were hitting that chair. Congratulations, you're the king at fucking timing. Mike, what is going on with you?
I'm just chilling over here. It's crazy life lately. Things have just been happening. I've been grilling a lot. It's very nice out. It's been hot. It's like a heat wave over here. You know what happened to me?
What
I
happened?
had corn on the cob, right?
Yeah.
And
did you eat it with your butt?
No, I didn't. Not this time. But here's the thing, right? I happened to when I grabbed the corn, one of the corns squished, right? Popped, and the juice went straight into my eye, right?
God.
I didn't think anything of it. It's just fucking corn juice, right? What's
Corn
the big
juice.
deal? I went and I cooked the corn. I made some burgers. We're eating. My eye is just getting itchy. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Dude, I think Monsanto got me. You know Monsanto?
What the fuck is Monsanto?
All the chemicals that they put on the fields for this corn to grow to a massive size. That shit got in my eye. When I tell you my eye was swollen, I thought I might have to take Benadryl or take something. It was swelling up, shutting and shit. I was like, what the hell was in that corn? That's the shit we're eating.
You thought there was
That's
a possibility? Have you ever considered maybe possibly Steph farted on your pillow?
Impossible. Steph doesn't fart.
Steph doesn't fart.
Nope. But yeah, what the hell's in corn? Who would ever known that the juice from corn would do it? I'm telling you, my eye was swelling up on the bottom and shit. Crazy.
Dude, everybody watching is just picturing you holding a corn on the cob with 2 hands in front of your face and shooting corn juice in your eye. Fuck.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
Man.
I
Well,
just thought, listen, the chemicals that they put on the fields, that's what it's gotta be, dude. That shit messed me up bad. Never, ever, ever, ever heard of that.
did I ever tell you the story did I ever tell our audience the story about my boy faking pink eye to get out of work when we were in high school? Did I ever tell you this one?
No.
So we're driving around after we're, senior year of high school. My boy has to go to work at Stop and Shop, and things were getting passed around in the car. Which you know what I'm talking about, right? So he says, "All right, bring me to the front of Stop and Shop," right? So he gets a bottle of Clear Ice out and he puts it in one eye, right?
Clear eyes.
In one eye, right? He puts it in one eye. He rubs the other one so it looks a little puffy, and he goes he's like, "Give me a few minutes." He goes into work with the most bloodshot fucking one eye,
Yes. Awesome.
all rubbed, bloodshot as hell, one clear eye, and he goes in there. He comes out like 2 minutes later. He's like, "Bro, I don't have to go back to work for the rest of the week. I told him I got pink eye, and they believe me, dude." I was like,
Nice.
me and my boys were all like, "Are
Perfect.
you shitting me, dude?" It worked. Fucking absolutely brilliant move by my buddy. Hey, we got a big show. I mean, we got a good show for you guys tonight. We got a guy who is on a 2-fight win streak and just absolutely demolished somebody. He beat the snot out of Daniel Mitchell back on May 31st in Denver at the Prospect Series card that they had there, the Vandermeer versus DP card. Joe Creer is going to be on. He's going to be fighting Joe Riggs. Joe
Riggs.
Diesel, dude. We're going to talk to Creer about this, but we're pretty sure that wasn't his original opponent, and they keep stacking this Sturgis card. So we're going to talk to Joe Creer about fighting Joe Riggs, and then after him, returning heavyweight, we talked to his opponent last week, Sam Shewmaker. We're going to be talking to Josh the Hammer Burns about coming back after a long layoff from the BKFC, making his return to the heavyweight division, fighting an old nemesis, Sam Shewmaker. So he'll be coming on right after Joe Creer. Why don't we jump right into our sponsors and then get this shit going? What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, first numero uno, we got Bucked Up, guys. Go to buckedup.com, use promo code Mike and Mish 20 and get 20% off your total purchase when you buy yourself some of the best supplements on the market, best pre-workouts on the market. BCAAs are awesome. Collagen peptides are great. Proteins are delicious. Energy drinks, sugar-free, delicious. I'm telling you, I wholeheartedly believe in our sponsor, Bucked Up. I've been using the supplements for about 6 months, and I feel fucking great. Get over there, buckedup.com, use Mike and Mish 20, and buy yourself some of that shits.
Hey. Dynamic Life, sexual health, weight loss, and anti-aging. Retake control of your life by reaching optimal health. Visit www.livedynamic.com. It's the only online platform where you can become a patient in under 20 seconds. Also, check out their Instagram page at Live Dynamic. That's LIV Dynamic on Instagram.
That's right, Mike. Hey, that is the old school sponsor stack, right? The stack, the Mike and Mish stack. Get jacked, get in shape using Bucked Up supplements, and then go become a patient in just 20 seconds at Dynamic Life. Get your sexual health right. Stop losing your fucking hair and maybe live forever. I don't know. It might work, right? And we got one more sponsor, Mike, but why don't we take a look at them before we bring on our first guest?
Yes, sir. Everybody stick around because when we come back, we will be joined by Joseph Creer.
The Rasha is a true scalar plasma energy technology with the most advanced base 12 frequency collection that protects, enhances, and harmonizes the autonomic nervous system. This can help a soldier, athlete, or animal improve their training, endurance, recovery time, and overall performance while achieving the ultimate victory-winning mindset called consciousness coherence. Once in this state of consciousness coherence, a soldier or an athlete is able to advance his target focus to a level where it is completely in the now present moment with relaxation and stress release. The Rasha is where science meets consciousness.
What's going on? The Dark Knight is here. Joseph Creer, welcome to the show, my friend. Last time we talked to you, I think we were sitting in a hotel lobby at Knucklemania 3, but it's been a long time. You're on a streak now. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm okay. I'm feeling fine. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man.
Great.
Hey, you're coming back again. Kind of a quick turnaround. You fought May 31st. Didn't take any damage in that fight. Looked great. And now here you are. You're fighting on probably the biggest event they've ever had in BKFC history. At least biggest crowd they're ever going to have. Did you talk to them that night? Say, hey, get me right back in there. You talk to your management. Say, hey, get me right back in there. How'd you get the quick turnaround like this?
I remember. What's his name? It was Andy. Andy Law.
Andy
He
Hall.
said, Hall. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Andy Hall. He said, hey, right there, right in the back. As soon as everything was over, he's like, man, you didn't even take any damage. When you want to come back? I was like, hey, give me one as soon as you can. I'm fine. I'm ready to work. And luckily, with a little bit of help, a little bit of blessings, with my manager Scott and Andy and Nate Shook, I guess they found it in the good graces with Mr. Feldman to get me a fight at the biggest bare knuckle. And really excited because it's Sturgis, and my boxing coach, he's an old biker himself, and so he's excited to grow his beard out. And,
Is he gonna ride his bike down?
No. we're gonna fly, like, because where we're in Columbus, Georgia, and it takes 24 hours by bike or car from here to there, and that's gonna be a great ride, but I need you that weekend. So yeah, we're flying.
Nice. Hey, this will be your third fight in under 12 months for the BKFC. You fought Duke Sensley in your first one, tough one, didn't come out on the winning end, but I'm sure you learned from that one, and you've looked great in your last two. Talk about the change, because you had a nice MMA career prior to BKFC. The changes, man, the changes in training, what you've learned from fight to fight. How you feeling about the sport?
I mean, I love the BKFC, especially with an older gentleman like myself. It's I guess it's reinvigorating or giving me a second life. I remember when I first got the opportunity to fight Duke Sensley. How do I remember how it happened? Well, how did it happen? I believe that was when I met Scott Farley in Go Combat, because one of my fighters here, his name is Tim Hester. He was being managed by Scott, and he said, "Hey, Joe, I can get you fights too." And I was like, "Well, set one up. Let's see." And he got me to fight with Duke. It was in Louisiana, and if I have to be brutally honest with you guys, and I'm very humble, to this day I say it, and everyone knows it. I do not feel as though that I lost to Duke since. I don't understand the complete rule set of bare knuckle. Like I said, a lot of his punches, yes, he threw more than I did. And if you guys know at this point now, I'm not really a heavy puncher. I'm more accurate. I caught a lot of his punches on the arms. I mean, don't get me wrong. Duke and I had a great fight. I caught a lot of his punches on my arms. And most of my punches were like critical. And so it actually, honestly, I was completely shocked when I didn't get my hand raised. But, it is what it is. Like my boxing coach, Donnie, says, it's a turn page. Let's move on to the next one. So the only adjustments that I happened to make, I understood, I guess, maybe I needed more output, or they needed to see more ring generalship, me stepping forward more. So you see those are adjustments that I made to my game plan, because I'm usually very much so a counter striker. I still am. But I said, okay, I'll just step forward more. I like to play behind my jab. I like to play behind my linear shots, and I like to create my angles. So the second fight they put me with, he's a very nice gentleman. His name is Ronnie Glass. That's his name, Ronnie. And at this point, like Ronnie and I, we talk on Instagram often, Facebook too. He actually called me because he was in Georgia 6 or 7 months ago, maybe less than that. And he was like, "Hey, I'm in Atlanta. do you want to do some sparring? And I told him where some gyms were. But then he said, oh, that's too far away from where he was. So he never got an opportunity to hook up and spar. But I'm sure next time he's in Georgia, we'll situate something and we'll get some sparring in. But he's a good guy. And I fought Ronnie. And when you guys put me up against Ronnie, you know, Ronnie was like 15 or 16, 1-1 as a pure boxer. And, you know, the odds were against me. I was upset
Yeah.
then too. I was like, what the hell's going on? You know, and the odds were against me. And I was like, huh? But I do understand, logically speaking, he had so many professional boxing matches. And at the time, I mean, still, well, now, at the time, I had 5 professional boxing matches. He had 16 to 18 professional boxing matches. So I understood the odds. But nobody knew, no one knows how deep my amateur boxing career is. And nobody really respects the fact that Georgia creates some of the best boxers, both amateur and pro, that the world has ever seen. So, you know, I just keep my mouth shut a lot and I smile and I don't talk a lot of crap. But we fought Ronnie Glass. And once again, I knew the goal would be to put a lot of shots out there, be very accurate, move my head. Because the one thing I say about Ronnie is if he did touch me, I would easily go out. Like everybody's a heavy striker. Everybody hits real hard. And people know me, I don't hit too hard, but if you run into it, it's going to hurt a whole lot. And
Right.
then you guys put me with the most recent gentleman, Daniel. I forget
Mitchell.
his last name. Daniel Mitchell. And then I started Google searching him, and I found a lot of his records, and I didn't realize that's when I found out that he had a very deep professional kickboxing career. And I said to myself, well, sorry, Daniel, there's no kicks involved in bare knuckle boxing. And you know, I mean, so that's what I remember. I looked up some of his fights, and I knew he was coming off a 3 or 4 year layoff or something like that. And he was very successful as an amateur, as a kickboxer, both pro and amateur. And I said, okay, everybody, they're not telling me everything. These guys, I have deep records, just like myself. I come from the MMA background. I have 10 professional MMA fights, and I have 5 professional boxing matches. I have 1 professional Muay Thai fight. And I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 16 years. First degree black belt in jiu-jitsu under Professor Rodrigo. So combat martial arts has been my life now for close to 20 years. And,
I was going to say, you're saying these guys all have deep records. I mean, you have a impressive record yourself. I mean, the only 2 times you've ever lost in your MMA career,
yep, Dr. Stoppage.
Dr. Stoppage, just cuts, man.
Yeah.
Is that ever, that doesn't like play into your mind at all now that you're
Not
in
in
a
the
sport with
slightest.
not in the slightest.
I didn't. Okay, so if you ever watched, I'm sorry, when I got the worst cuts I ever had was when I was fighting Austin Vanderford in Bellator. And if you watch the fight, I didn't really care. He's a great wrestler. I was like, let me up, come on, let me up, watch what happens. But like he also changed my game too. I remember when I fought Austin Vanderford, I had just recently got promoted to black belt. And you know, I'm older, so I come from the old school of mixed martial arts, the old school of jiu-jitsu, and I was playing in the guard. And I realized after Austin, I said, you don't play in the guard on your back in an MMA fight. So then we updated our game, and I made the adjustments there. And every time I've been getting matched for MMA fights, the guys back out. And you know, same thing after Ronnie Glass, I got offered some bare knuckle fights with BKFC, and they fell through as well. It wasn't the opponent's fault or anything like that, but like the events got canceled. Guys, I'm getting older. I gotta get it. I gotta get it now. You know, I gotta get it now. I made a promise to my family that it's a lie now, but I made a promise to them that I'd probably hang them up at 45, but I'm lying. As long as the Lord gives me, as long as the Lord gives me this body, I'm gonna keep pushing. The one thing that my mutant power is perpetual youth, I guess, and I'm gonna keep doing it until the Lord tells me not to do it anymore. So, yeah.
Well, dude, this is a sport where you're an older guy, but as far as combat sports goes, but in this sport here, where you don't have to worry about kicks and wrestling and grappling and takedowns or anything like that, you just got to worry about your hands. You see that a lot of guys in their 40s are excelling, and Lorenzo Hunt, Ben Rothwell. Okay, your opponent, Joe Riggs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened to Josh Griggs? There's some confusion on this. Even somebody in the comments right now is asking you about Josh Griggs.
Josh Griggs. I'm sorry.
Was he ever your opponent? Was Josh Griggs ever your opponent? Was it always Joe Riggs?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't know who Josh Griggs is.
There you go. Okay. So you on a
Yes.
few websites were listed as fighting a guy named Josh Griggs. And we're seeing the graphic of you and Joe Riggs. And even on the BKFC website, it's Joe Riggs.
You're right.
I'm glad you cleared that up because Mike even said it. Mike was like, why does it say Josh Griggs some places? Like, who the hell's this guy? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure it's Joe Riggs. So Joe Riggs has been out of action almost 2 years.
Right.
When did his name get brought to the table for you? Was it right after Denver or a couple weeks after
No.
Denver? How did you get the fight?
This happened. I believe it was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I got offered the Joe Riggs fight. Scott from GOAT, he called me. Well, he texted me. It's so funny. He texted me. He said, "Hey, what are you doing August 3rd?" I said, "I don't know. Let me check my calendar because my guys fight." And I was like, "Let me check my calendar." And I said, "Right now, I don't have anything planned." I said, "But like, I thought he was asking me to come down to Core MMA and maybe like cross train or do some sparring." And I was like, "Well, let me see if I'm free." And then he was like, "Hey, well, do you want to fight Joe Riggs in Sturgis August 3rd?" I said, "Well, I guess I'm fighting Joe Riggs August 3rd in Sturgis." And so he got that together, and I said, "Okay, what's the weight?" And the first offer was at 195 pounds. I said, "Okay, 195 pounds." And then 2 days passed, and I messaged him again, and I said, "Hey, Scott, what's going on with the fight?" And he said, "Well, they said that they want you to fight him at 185." I said, "Okay, I'll fight him at 185. I don't care." If you look at the entirety of my professional career, 90% of my fights have been at middleweight, MMA middleweight. What is it called in bare knuckle? Cruiserweight. So like,
185 in
oh
bare
no,
knuckle is light
it's light
heavyweight.
heavyweight. Right,
Light heavyweight.
right.
Yep.
205 is cruiserweight. It's weird. I'm sorry. It's weird.
Yeah, they're
To
strange.
me, it's weird. But in MMA, the majority of my MMA career has been spent at 185 middleweight, light heavyweight. But I've taken fights here and there at light heavyweight 205. And then if you look at my boxing record, well, it's kind of weird. But the smallest I fought would be boxing cruiserweight. It's like 196. But dude, if you look on the internet, if you go on YouTube and put my name in, you're gonna see I fought a guy in St. Louis and he was like 400 pounds. So it's a little weird. Now, like 3 or 4 out of the 5 professional boxing matches I had, 3 of the guys were humongous, and then 2 of the guys were cruiserweights. So anyway, I go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you got Joe Riggs in front of you now, and nothing against Daniel Mitchell or Ronnie Glass. Joe Riggs is like a 75,
Yeah,
80 fight pro
yeah,
who has like an
yeah.
insane win percentage. Like
Absolutely.
like this is a huge name, especially in bare knuckle, also in MMA. But when bare knuckle was growing, Joe Riggs was growing with it too. So he's got 7 fights in bare knuckle. This is a
Yeah.
pretty big step up in competition as far as bare knuckle goes. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely agree. But I'm not worried.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Joe Riggs as a competitor? You've seen his career,
Uh,
so
Yep. I mean, as a competitor, I know he's a tough guy. I know he's been in a lot of fights. I know he's got a lot of experience. So you always have to respect that. And I'm from the military. In the military, they always say you got to respect the rank and not the man. And the thing is, also on the flip side, I actually respect the man as well. He's accomplished so much in his career, and it's very admirable to say the least. Uh, but even though I'm actually older than Joe Riggs, but I'm hungry. The thing is, I spent a good majority of my life in the military, and I've been moonlighting as a professional fighter while I was active, and I've been spending the better half of the last 16 years working towards building something for myself. Like, if you look at the background, this is mine. I built this. I built this. This is
Nice.
mine.
awesome.
And like myself and my coach Donnie. I don't know if you ever saw the old white man with the blonde. It's not blonde. It's gray. He's usually in my corner. Like, this is my best friend in the world. He taught me everything I know about boxing. Him and a couple of other very important coaches. Like I said, people don't understand when it comes to all of Georgia, we've got great coaches. Specifically in Columbus, Georgia, where I live, we've got great coaches. Donnie Bellflowers, he happens to be my coach, my primary coach, and I got a secondary coach. His name is Rick Carrillo. He runs the city boxing program, Muskogee County Boxing. Great coach. He was in my corner at the the Duke Sensley fight. It was Donnie and it was Coach Rick. And then I have a friend. He's a great coach. He runs Gang Bred Boxing right here. It's in Smith Station, Alabama, which is like 5 minutes away. His name is Coach Jason, and he has Brandon Glanton. I don't know if you guys watch professional boxing, but Brandon Glanton is a 2-time champion right now, a double champion. And Coach Jay, we always talk. He always sends me messages. He'll look over video of my opponents and he'll be like, "Hey, Joe, he does this, this, and this. So drill this, this, and this. Just do it over and over and over again." And if it weren't for these coaches right here in Columbus that I've grown to respect over the years that I've been here, I'd be nothing. I'd be nowhere when it comes to bare knuckle or even my professional career. So all respect to those guys. Now back to Joe Riggs. I have nothing but respect for him. But I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, taking my ego aside, I am victorious August 3rd. I'm going to get my hand raised. I'm going to get my hand raised.
I think we might have touched on this the last time you were on the show, and you have already said that you're in the military. Why do you think there's so many great coaches where you are? Do you believe it's because of the Army community that's over there? That we know Fort Benning, or actually formerly Fort Benning, now it's Fort Moore.
Fort Moore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in Columbus, Georgia. It's home of the infantry. They train
That's
airborne there. Rangers train
Rangers.
there.
That's it.
So there's some serious dudes there. Do you
Yeah.
think that's why there's so many like tough and good trainers over there? Or
that's
is that just
definitely
coincidence?
that's definitely a big part of it. And also, I'd like to believe that a reason we have some of these very good, well-versed or experienced coaches because they possibly were military as well, and then they retired like myself. When I got out of the military, I ended up building shop here. I set up my home here because I'm from Detroit. Like you ever hear every time I walk out, it says by way of Detroit, Michigan, from Columbus, Georgia, by way of Detroit, Michigan. I was like, I'm not going back home. So and I have a daughter. She's 10. I was like, it's actually a little better for me to raise my daughter right here in Columbus, Georgia, right where it's slow, so she can grow up because I don't want her to be, a Detroit girl. No offense to Detroit women or anything like that. But she's growing up right. She's growing up slow. It's nice here. We're never here, like I said, because I coach and because we fight. Every weekend I'm somewhere else. So it's a good place for me just to continue to build my family and my ties with my friends and my family, my gym family, and all the guys and girls that train with me. And we have really good coaches here because it's the best kept secret. Also, if you look it up statistically, Columbus, Georgia is a very active city. Like the epitome of health, really. Like we've got like rock climbing, and we've got whitewater rafting, and we've got CrossFits, and we've got jiu-jitsu everywhere. We've got very good jiu-jitsu here in Columbus, Georgia. We got Gracie Baja, and Gracie Baja is ran by Professor Josh Boland. He's a world champion. You know what I'm saying? That's honestly myself included. Outside of myself, taking away my ego and everything like that. I'm a jiu-jitsu player as well. But you bow to the kings. Gracie Baja is a great jiu-jitsu gym here, and no arrogance, no ego when it comes to what we do. I'm the best there is at what I do, and that's mixed martial arts, specifically boxing. Like my boxing coach, he's the best he is at what he's the best there is at what he does. With due respect to the other coaches that I mentioned right here in Columbus, Georgia. I forgot one coach. His name is Daryl Wright. He owns Right Way Fitness. I'm telling you, we have so much fitness here in Columbus. We have it's a hidden gem when it comes to athleticism and sports excellence.
Wow. I love it, man. You're definitely surrounded by the right people. And if you take home the W on August 3rd, that'll give you 3 wins in under a calendar year for the BKFC. You mentioned your age, but you're not slowing down. How far do you want to take this thing with the BKFC? You want to keep on going until you're at the top of the 185?
Yeah, guys. Well, I'm gonna be candid with you. Also, for one, I've had discussions with Nate Shook and Scott Farley and Andy, and they were saying, certain people in the UFC, Jesus Christ, certain people in the BKFC, they would rather see me at 205 than 185. The 205 is cruiserweight. That's why I mentioned cruiserweight. And they said, oh, because specifically speaking, Nate Shook said, hey, David Feldman says he's impressed by you at 205. My 205 pound fight was Daniel Mitchell. And being honest, I know that right now there's a vacuum at cruiserweight in the BKFC for reasons beyond anyone's control. And since that's where they say they want me, although I've been a 85er, a light heavyweight my entire career, I can always, none of this hurts me. Fighting at 205, fighting at 185, fighting at 195, it's not a big deal. Like I said, even when they called me and they said, hey, we want you to fight Joe Riggs and they want you to fight him at 195, I said, okay, cool. And then 2 days later, they said they want you to fight him at 185. Okay, cool. I still got some guys here and they're still training or whatever. And I just checked my weight because I knew I was getting on the phone with you guys. So I had to clean up and everything like that. Check my weight right now. I'm at 202 pounds. It's nothing, like the heaviest. If I were eating hamburgers and if I was eating pizza, I'd easily be 215. That's my normal walk around weight. But I know, because just like when the phone rings all the time, I was like, I got to be in shape. You know, the old connotation, you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I'm 203 pounds right now because I'm getting ready for Joe Riggs. I'm 203 pounds. And my goal, once again, is by tomorrow, today's Wednesday, by Friday, I'm going to be under 200 pounds because I'm older and I don't like cutting 15 pounds on a fucking Wednesday. Sorry. Start cutting pounds on a Wednesday. You know,
Nobody does, right?
So if I just gradually lose 2 or 3 pounds every night, it's safe, it's healthy. I mean, I don't know. You can look at the sheets, the records that they take of us, like they do the 2 weeks, the 1 week, the 7 days prior. I'm always under, and then like they say, okay, you're cool. Of course I'm cool. And then if you check the scale, you know, they check us like 30 or 45 minutes before we get in the ring, and Joseph's back. You know, like I'm usually like 211, 212, 213. So it's not a big deal.
Well, Joe, I can understand why Nate would say 205 because they are pretty thin at 205. They need some competitors up there. But
So
wherever you make your home in the BKFC, you win on August 3rd. This is 3 wins in a row for you. It should get you in a win over Joe Riggs should get you right in that top 5 conversation.
title contention. Right.
I think that you're on your way with the BKFC. We do have to wrap it up with you. We got another guest coming on, but we're going to be out there in Sturgis, Mike and I. I cannot wait. We'll catch up with you in person. This event's going to be freaking insane. There could be anywhere from 18,000 to 40,000 people at the Buffalo Chip. So you're going to be fighting in front of the biggest crowd they ever had for a BKFC event. It's a huge opportunity for you. We're excited for you. Any last words for the audience, for anybody paying attention? Go ahead and say them now.
Yeah, last words. For one, I want to thank my manager, Scott Farley, and I want to thank David Feldman and Nate Shook and Andy Hall. I want to thank those guys because without them, I wouldn't get the ball moving. It wouldn't get an opportunity for myself. I want to thank my training partners and my friends and my family. But most importantly, once again, being nice, being humble, being gracious. I'm looking for a title shot at cruiserweight. This should definitely put me in title contention, and I will fight anybody there. Everyone knows that. I'll fight anybody. If they call and say, I want you to fight this guy, I'm there. Give me a title shot. And I'm asking from the bottom of my heart. And what I'll do is when I get that belt, when I win the belt, I'm going to hold onto that belt, and I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to defend it. And when Lorenzo gets back, that's what I'll do. The opportunities, and I want that belt. So I knew I had to put it out there publicly. I don't usually talk like crap or anything like that. So I want the belt.
Hey,
I want the belt.
You
that
want
was the
that
nicest
belt?
Trash talking I've ever heard.
Yeah. That was the most polite trash talking we've ever heard. Thank you so much for coming on here tonight. We'll see you in Sturgis. We'll be out there on August 2nd for the weigh-ins and for all the festivities. And August 3rd is going to be incredible. Mike, do you have anything else left for Creer?
Hey, can't wait to see this fight. Like Kyle was saying, this thing's going to be insane. I was looking into Sturgis online today with a couple of friends because some guys from our unit are going to fly down and go to that event. It's going to be insane. I didn't even realize. I knew it was crazy, but I didn't know how crazy. Jelly Roll's going to be there. Kid Rock. I hear Kid Rock's going to be there the whole time, so he'll probably be at the fights. So there's probably going to be him amongst many other famous people, along with, 17,000, 18, 19,000 people there. It's massive. That's crazy. So cannot wait to see it. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody else, stay tuned, because when we come back, we will be joined by Josh Burns. It's been a long time, so I went back to look at a couple of his videos and I found this gem. Everybody stay tuned. Thank you so much for coming on, Josh. Joseph Creer. Josh Burns is coming up next. Take it easy.
Thanks, Joe. See ya.
Yeah.
Detroit Survival Training. Today, we're joined with the next bare knuckle super heavyweight champion, Josh Burns. And today we're going to be doing pressure testing of our tactic. You're not supposed to shoot. Knife, disarm. Now this is going to be easy. This is what you do. Okay, hold as hard as you can. Okay. This one, we're going to have you to stand like a fighter, like you would, like if you're a fighter, like a real fighter, okay? All right, here we go. And you turn to block this. Detroit Survival Training. Tactics that increase your survivability, even if you're not a world champion to be.
Forgot all about that video, Josh. And I came across it the other day, and that shit had me laughing. When you choke them out, that shit is so funny. How's it going, man? How's it been?
Going good. How you guys?
Great.
Oh, always good, Josh. Did you know that guy before he started making those videos? That dude's he got hot for a minute there back when you guys made that video, and he was like very internet famous for a while there. Did you know him before?
No, he's part of he trains the Detroit SWAT team, and some of the guys, and I have friends on the SWAT team, and they're like, hey, you should go do a video with him. You know, he does a lot of satire and a lot of goofy stuff, but the guy legit knows his stuff. So
He does.
It's fun. It was just fun time.
I didn't know that. I always thought that he was just like a comedy guy. So he's a legit trainer and he actually knows his shit.
Yeah, just look up Detroit Dust. They do a lot of surveillance, personal stuff, and private security, and they train a lot of law enforcement officers and special forces. So yeah,
good stuff, dude. Josh, you're back, baby. You're back. We ran into you. What the hell event did we run into you? It was a little while back.
Salt Lake City.
Utah.
Yeah, and you did say that you might be in conversations to come back, and now here we are.
Yeah,
8 months later, and you're going to be back. Not only back, but fighting your old nemesis, and like we just said to Joseph Creer, it's going to be no matter what, it's going to be the biggest crowd the BKFC has ever had there for a live event. They could fill that. They could fill the Buffalo Chip a quarter of the way, and it would be the biggest crowd they ever had. So was it just perfect timing, perfect opponent, perfect everything for you to make your return?
Yeah, I mean, it was time, just perfect and everything. Personal life, the last 5 years, I've been going through a lot of junk. And, so it's the first time that I've been able to have camp focus on fighting only and, have nothing over my head. Don't got to worry about nothing else. I can just focus actually on the fight. So, when Dave offered the fight with Sam, to be fair, to be honest, I mean, this shit took forever. I mean, good God, they talked about it back in January, February. I was still under contract with BYB. I requested my release from BYB, and I get along with them quite well also. So they did release me. And then we sat here twiddling our fucking thumbs for X amount of months. And now we're finally coming up to it here in August. So obviously Sam and I was something we wanted to both run back. Neither one of us felt the first fight. It's heavyweights. Anything can happen in a heavyweight fight. So I think we both want to beat the snot out of each other a little more than what happened. So, and this is the perfect venue and time and location for that to go down. Because, to be fair, nobody on the card has the experience that's it. And like Britt and Taylor, their world's going for the title. So that's cool. So obviously they're main. But at the end of the day, no one else, even Riggs, Joey. I brought Joey over. Joey came with me over to fucking England. So, and I've got more fights. I got more fights than any American than bare knuckle. So, and between Sam and myself, we've literally fought every bare knuckle heavyweight champion, excluding one. So, we're now two. So, since Trulio won the other night. But so as far as experience and getting in there with everyone. Sam and I equally have fought every heavyweight champion there is. So, you know, we're definitely the experience on the card, and we're both knockout artists. So it should be a pretty kick-ass show.
Hell yeah. How long? I didn't go back and rewatch you and Sam the first time. How long did that fight last? Was that like 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 13 seconds?
I mean, if you count the count, I think he counted 10, so it made it like 16.
Wow.
So, but it was just, it's one of those things, man. You know, just it's one of those things. Just everything kind of lines up perfectly in your head. You know what he's gonna do, and it's one of those things that, you know, because I made an amateur mistake in the fight. Like when we first went out, obviously a little bit passionate and aggressive towards him, and you know, I came out there and he throws a jab, and I do an amateur. Instead of just parrying or catching, I reached. And I thought in my head, I was like, oh, fuck, don't do that again. He's going to fake the jab and hook you. It's literally what I was thinking. And literally, you know, Sam's got experience. So the next thing he did is he was going for it. Just faked the jab, came over the hook, and thank God he missed. My jab didn't touch him, it just touched his little beard. And then obviously kind of a hybrid little bit of shovel hook. Just you know, connected on the button. You know what I'm saying? So, and I mean, he went stiff. The 3 wasn't really what I was trying to throw. I was really trying to throw the 2. As you can see, you know, I was like stuttering, like as he's falling, I'm trying to stutter towards him because I was trying to hit him again. But I mean, obviously, you know, it's just one of those shots that just happens to put your lights out.
Yeah, they had the official count at 19 seconds.
Yeah.
Pretty damn fast.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, all this shit's a joke, you know, when it comes to these refs, you know, God bless them all, but fuck's sake. I mean, he hit like a fucking, literally like a dead fish on the floor. Boom. And I was in the ring and it was loud to me. Like he hit hard. It was just one of those shots. And it's like these other guys that, you know, Yuli, I love Yuli's my boy. Yuli gets whatever, 3 seconds, because the second the dude gets hit and he hits, I mean, boom, Andrew Gunn's calling it off immediately. Like, So you got that kind of ref. And then you got other refs that'll sit there and go, okay, let me count. Now I'm an asshole and I stood over the top of him. So that probably brought in the count.
Because he had to break it up and
So,
neutral
you know,
corner, right?
And he's in the position going, okay, I just got him off. Like, let me count, you know. So, but you know, all these fast knockouts and stuff, it's really dependent on the referee and how quickly they want to count. Bottom line, like everyone's like, oh, I got the fastest knockout, I got this. Bottom line is, it's really the refs. It's the refs. So if you got, I mean, there's a lot of fights in there where you see somebody and they're fucking out. There's no need for a count, but these motherfuckers are standing there counting. So when you get
the other night,
20 seconds, anything
Moore, Ruben Moore. What'd you think about the Ruben Moore knockout the other night? That thing was impressive, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I had that at 4 seconds personally.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you got refs that want to count and, you know, want to be relevant. And so that's cool. You do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, you're there to protect the fighter. And if the fucking fighter hits the floor like a fucking wet fish, like then, like it's done. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion. And I've been in this game a long time. Bare knuckle, I can tell you right now, like I'm one of a handful that actually knock people out. Most bare knuckle, these motherfuckers quit. Like they quit under power. Like they get hit and it might hurt, but these dudes fall. Trust me. I mean, I love AJ, but what AJ, when he fought Mick, AJ didn't get knocked out. Everyone's like, oh, he got knocked out. Mick's my boy. Okay. But at the end of the day, AJ was fucking exhausted. Watch him. Watch the last punch. Watch how he does this. When he gets hit, he goes, and it falls down. Like, and I love AJ. He's exhausted. And he's doing whatever he can to let people know, fuck you, I'm tired as fuck. I can't barely move. So it is what it is. But, you know, bare knuckle, you get more people to quit than you actually fucking knock people out. You know what I'm saying? So when you actually do see someone get clapped and their lights are out, fight should be done. It's only 10 count anyway. So, you know, It's not like you're in Europe when I was doing, you know, the 18-second count, which
that was nuts.
Stupid. So yeah,
that was nuts.
Yeah.
You know, Josh, you just talked about how you've been in this game for a long time and you have more experience than most. Everybody knows you, that's for sure, and everyone's excited to see you back. Recently, we've been having King Mo on a lot, and King, you were one of the first names he said out of it when he started talking. We talked to him about possibly coming into BKFC, and now they made the announcement the other day he's fighting Dave Mundell. But he's like, man, I see guys like, he said a couple names, and then he was like, Josh Burns, the Hammer. I was like, man, everybody knows Josh. You mentioned you've been out for a minute. you said you cleared a lot of things up in your personal life and in your you know, your, I don't know, in your headspace.
Yeah.
Where would you say you are right now, physically and mentally, heading in there? You just turned 46 years old. You're not a young man anymore.
Right.
Physically, mentally, heading in there, where would you say you are right now,
Well,
as far as the last 5 years of your life go?
Yeah, I mean, even my last fight with Sam was more emotional. You can see I was heavy. I've been heavy the last 4 years, 4.5 years. So mentally, I always depended on my power, and really didn't take into account my athletic ability and, and get in shape. Every fight you guys see me, I've been cutting from 300 every fight. And then the Sam Shewmaker, the day of weigh-ins, I cut 17 pounds the day of weigh-ins. So that night, clearly, when I was clearly close to 290 the night we fought. Today, I feel I could fight tonight. I could fight right now. We get off this, I could walk into the arena and fight tonight. I feel good. And it's just, I'm blessed with being able to focus, my support structure, my family, my girl, my support system is pretty phenomenal. And that's put me in a position to where, it's either put up or shut up. So, I put the work in and it's showing. Obviously, I'm in Denver. I've been in Denver the last 5 weeks of camp. Very blessed to come out here with Jake Ramos and Chris Camozzi at fight Team Genesis. And, Rose just had a big win the other night. So feel very blessed to be around these guys and this caliber of team. And at this altitude, being able to do 6, 8, 10 rounds is a big deal at this elevation. So, a lot of guys, I can put it out there now, but it's fucking hilarious how many people consider themselves professional athletes and they have no brains. Like fighters are idiots. Like, I hate to say it, it's just the reality. Like, most of these guys are morons. Like, you fought in Utah. How the fuck do you not acclimate to and adjust for the altitude? You're going to Sturgis. Sturgis is what, 3,800 foot level. You have to acclimate to that. If you don't, you're going to gas. I don't care how tough or great you think you are. Trust me, when you ain't got oxygen, you ain't got oxygen. So, and it's amazing to watch these people that consider themselves fighters and, the top tier people. And I'm not talking, the guys who are just trying to break in, but I'm talking champions, people that are at the top. And you talk to them and they're like, oh, shit, I never even thought about that. It's like,
Right.
But my God, that's your living. Like, that's your name, your legacy, your living. Like, how are you not, accommodating, acclimating for that? So it is what it is.
We've actually asked fighters at events, we're like, did you get out here early to get yourself used to the elevation?
Yep.
They're like, yeah, I came out here Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
I don't think that's going to be enough.
That's not early.
Not enough.
I can tell you right now, this is my fourth week out here. And just this week, shit's starting to, and I came out here in shape. And trust me, you get that feeling of, and fighters and athletes will know what I'm saying. You guys, if you've done high level stuff like in the military, you get that feeling like it's a panic. You get that panic where you're like, oh, like I'm gonna die, like I can't breathe, like you start freaking out, and you have to be able to calm that, bring it down. And the only way to bring it down is being in shape, being able to have your aerobic base to be able to come down. So you have your anaerobic threshold and your aerobic base. So if you got a solid aerobic base, that's what brings you down. That's what brings you down in between rounds, in between flurries, in between stuff. So, and I would say this is the first week that I've not experienced, going 6, 8 rounds, like sparring with top tier guys and not having that, oh my God,
exhaustion
like in my head where I'm like, can't breathe, that kind of thing. So it's
wow.
Definitely real. It's a big deal. And so I'm blessed to have everything, my sports system and stuff. And I'm out here being able to prepare properly for Sam. Cause at the end of the day, I think Sam was a little bit complacent the first time he fought me. He's a good fighter. And he, at the end of the day, he's fought everybody and he's a good boxer. He knows how to fight. And I just think that he just gave me that 1 inch of a little bit of complacency and I was able to jump on it, So this fight, I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting a crisp, fast, long, good boxer, good fighter coming out. And I'm assuming it's probably going to go all 5 rounds. I obviously don't want it to. I'm not getting paid by the minute, but yeah, I got to be prepared to go, all 5 rounds.
I would say going out to Denver for 5-6 weeks prior to your are you going to be in Denver right up until fight week?
Yeah. I'm here.
So so you said you're in week 4 or 5 right now?
Week 4. Week 5 will be next week, and then I leave here. So I drove here to Denver, just to mid camp. So I drove here. It only took like 17 hours. So I drove straight through with my girl. So my fiance drove straight in and got here on Saturday. Slept on Sunday. Right in the train. So I didn't miss a day of training. And Sturgis is only 6 hours from here. So basically, the day before, when I'm supposed to be there, the day of or whatever, I'll leave here. It takes 6 hours. That's nothing. Usually the day, by that time, camp's done. I can take a 6-hour drive, not a big deal, and
Nice.
be there. And I'm actually gaining altitude by the time I get there because it's up here. The gym's almost at, I think, like 6,200 foot level.
Yeah, you're coming down.
So I'm gaining altitude. So
Nice.
I'm prepared to go for all 5.
Hey, speak on Chris Camozzi right now for a second. You mentioned training with him, and Chris has been fighting BKFC, and he seems to love bare knuckle fighting. And in fact, I think he started bare knuckle only type classes, right? He's training people to prepare to fight without gloves on out there, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, Chris loves the sport. I mean, he's all about it. Chris and I talked about it. God, Chris and I were talking, I think, almost 2 years before he actually came in. I was trying to convince him, come do it, because Chris is just a phenomenal athlete. He's precise. I think he beat Hunt when he fought Hunt, but you got to beat the champ. But at the same time, he was just more savvy, technically savvy, stronger when they fought. And I like Hunt. I got no problems with Hunt. But at the end of the day, Chris is my boy, so I'm going to favor. I'll be a little biased towards him, but I'm just telling you, Chris is by far a better fighter. So. And I would love to see him back, in BKFC or just in bare knuckle in general, just because, I mean, the guy's got a lot to offer, but he's very successful in life. So he's not one of these guys, that
needs
like
to
myself. I don't have to sit here and hang on every little word that these promotions throw. Like, if you throw me trash, you can fuck off. Like, go build your shit. Like, I've made my legacy, same with him. Like, he has his legacy, UFC, everything. So these guys got to throw real offers to him. But, I really think that he could be a world champion at 205 easy, in my opinion.
Hey, speaking of legacy, speaking of world champions, speaking of legends, we got to bring up your old mentor, your old coach, Mark Coleman,
right?
The original Hammer, the Hammer House. Has he been around? Have you seen Mark lately? He had the crazy incident where he had the fire and near death, like he almost lost his life saving his family. Have you been still in touch with Mark?
Yeah, we talk. It's I'm not training with him at the moment. He's very blessed. He's got, ever since that situation it just caught wildfire, very blessed, and he's been able to go to a bunch of events, do a bunch of things. The downside to that was he was supposed to be here at Sturgis with me. I think he was also going to be with Britt as well, but because they do an energy drink together. But he, because of all the activity and moving and all that good stuff, he got another infection in his hip. They literally just cleaned it out, put a temporary in, so he ain't doing nothing, for at least a couple months. But you got to keep him down. Like, the guy, to be honest with you, I always joke, because that's where my education is, that's my wheelhouse. I'm like, look, motherfucker, if you don't stay off it, you're gonna lose your leg. And when you lose your leg, he'll still be fucking hobbling around doing his shit. But I'm like, bro, you don't need to, like, relax. Like, take this period of time, and he's supposed to take this time to relax, recover, and recoup. And God bless him, but there ain't shit gonna keep him down. He's got too much energy, and he's always up and going, man. You're just not gonna stop him.
I was just gonna say, it seems like he's the kind of guy you can't stop him even if you wanted to. He's just a fucking go forward kind of guy in everything that has to go in life. It's crazy.
That's literally who Mark is.
Fucking awesome. So you're back in BKFC. You get to run it back with Sam. I was thinking about, like, all your accomplishments, everything you've done in your career. Do you regret anything that you've done in the long career they've had? Anything you'd want to go back and rerun?
The last couple years, 2 years, I wish I could have given BYB a better representation of who Josh Burns is, because I was very heavy, very fat, and I easily should have had that belt. And because of my own ignorance and my lack of dedication, I guess, you could say, I didn't give a great performance there. And that's just because it's me, because I came in heavy. I was 305 every time. Like, I'm always fat and and I'm just depending on, and I'm out of shape. I'm just depending on, one hitter quitter type shit. And we all know, watch every single one of my fights over there. Every single one of them ran from me. In the trigon, which is a little triangle, which you're not supposed to be able to run from. But trust me, if you fucking can move, you can run. And that's my fault. So I probably regret that. And then my very first fight, my first world title fight with Mick Terrell in England. Mick's my boy. I love Mick. I'd love to run it back with him, especially now since he's so heavy. If you guys watched the fight when he and I fought, I by far was stronger, faster, more aggressive, but he was 10 times more precise. He came in at 235, I think it was. Like, he was thin, fast, and just sharp, and just ripped my face. Ripped my nose off, just pounced on me. But I did connect a couple times, but it's England. So I ripped my nose, my nose is ripped off, and they stopped the fight because my nose is ripped. I'm like, it doesn't impede my breathing or my vision. You shouldn't be stopping the fight. But I was picking up momentum. I felt I was picking up momentum. Mick and I joke about it all the time. But, I would love to run it back with Mick here in the States, just because back then, in the BKB, which is no longer, they're more like, and you watch the fight, Mick gets irritated if I'm touching him, if I grab him. Like, grab him, wipe my face on him. And he's like looking at, Boz, and, oh, what's he doing? Don't grab me. And I know BKFC, don't get me wrong, he's done well in the clinch with guys like AJ who are great in the clinch. But I just feel that it'd be more my wheelhouse here than it was there. And I don't have to worry about and I'm not saying that I lost because of bias. He straight up, he outboxed me. But there won't be any bullshit bias here in America. There won't be that England BS. When I fought Pottermore, I knocked the dude out. He sat there for 22 seconds. And these jokers fucking let it go at like 22, 20. Everyone's got either between 21 to 23 second count. And I'm like, he's out. He slumped through the ropes. Like, why are you guys letting it go? Then motherfucker jams my eye. And their cut lady throws in the red, like over there, it's different rules. So they can throw in a red flag to stop it. Their cut lady, who's not an EMS, EMT, medical at all certified, this bitch throws in the red flag and they're like, oh, okay, it's done. I'm like, yeah, my eye's swollen. I thought it was a punch. Obviously, watch the replay. His thumb, that far of his thumb went in my eye socket. I had to go to their surgeons, and their people were going to put gas in my eye, and I couldn't fly back. So they were like, you had something that scratched my oculus nerve. Well, look where the oculus nerve is. It's in the back of the fucking eye. Yeah. So, and I'm telling the promoter, I'm like, yo, that was a fucking thumb and I just thought I got hit. I was like, oh my God, I've never been hit like that before. It wasn't a punch. It was like, and I'm too tough for my, it sounds pompous, but I'm too tough for my own good. I was like, okay, I'm just going to work through it. And my eyes like, whoop. So, but
the too tough for your own good trait seems to be in a lot of you guys in this sport.
Your top tiered guys, the tough guys, I'm trying to think what his name is. Another cat that's old as I am that's fighting Bobby, fights for GOAT. Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
Bobby Taylor.
So,
well, what about Josh Copeland fighting Ben Rothwell, man? But Copeland, Josh Copeland is like, just like you just said, he is absolutely too tough for his own good, because Big Ben was putting it on him in the second and third rounds of that fight, and like Big Ben told us himself, when they sat on the stool in between the third and fourth round, he sat down and he was like, what the fuck do I got to do to put this guy away? Yeah. He will not go down. And then Josh's corner threw the towel in, and Ben was like, thank fucking God.
Yeah. No, like, Josh's Copeland's got I think what keeps Copeland in is, one, he's got a hard noodle, so he's a tough dude. But more than being tough, his cardio is just ridiculous, because he trained up here at Genesis. Oh, yeah. And I talked to some of the guys, in his cardio at this height and this elevation is just retarded. So, and I've trained with guys that are like that are just natural cardio. Like Josh don't have much muscle. So but he can have a lot of grit and it's bare knuckle. You don't have to hit hard. All you got to do is just hit a little bit, and you can cut people open. And if you have that resilience where you just don't stop, most people are going to fold. And Josh has that in him. So, and then, Ben's a good dude, but I still think Ben ain't fought nobody. That's just my opinion. I don't think Ben's fought anybody that's going to stand in front of him. Josh did, but you're talking a 3-pound ball hammer, compared to a 15-pound sledgehammer. Like, he don't hit the way that most heavyweights hit. And pretty sure he would admittedly tell you that as well. He was just happy to be there. I think Ben needs to get cracked by a real motherfucker like Josh Watson, myself. I don't think Mick's not gonna. I've never considered Mick a power puncher. When I fought him, trust me, he outstruck me and was sharp as fuck and hit me with a bunch of clean shots. It was nothing that was gonna put my lights out. I can tell you that right now. But I just think Mick is just gonna wipe the floor with Ben because mobility, technique, punch placement, like it is 2 different levels of striking. Now, I'm not saying Ben's not a high-level fighter, but he's a high-level fighter in a different area. I think I honestly think it's probably going to be one of Mick's easiest fights. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Ben because Ben's a bit like a guy like me, a guy like Watson, big, strong guy. That's going to be a fucking war. That's going to be a tough fight. He'll have a better shot there. But a guy like Mick, who's not going to be there, he's going to hit you, and he's not going to be there for you to hit him back. He's not going to let you do that bully bullshit. So, that's my opinion. I'm kind of going off topic.
No, it's fine.
It's perfectly fine. We do have somebody in the comments that's a big fan of yours. The original fighter's voice, Don McGuire. He's in the comments. He's saying hello, and he was asking a question about Gustavo Trujillo. Even though you're not in BYB, but we do know that both of you have now bounced back and forth, and maybe he comes back. Would you like to cross paths with Gustavo?
To be honest with you, I would have to do what I'm doing. You always want to fight the best, and Gustavo is absolutely what I believe one of the best. We had a mutual opponent, and he was able to stop him, get him to stop on his knees, didn't knock him out, but just hit him to where he quit. Copeland did the same thing to the guy that Levi that I fought. But obviously, like I said, I wasn't in shape. I wasn't in the shape that I should have been in. And Gustavo and I, we met in Denver when they fought here. BYB fought here. Super nice guy. Obviously, language barrier a little bit, but the fighter in me, absolutely. Because I watched Levi touch him, and Gustavo's a very slick, great fighter. But my opinion is, I think people are afraid of him. Even when you watch, he just fought for the title. Ike, the guy Ike. Ike's fighting scared. Like, what the fuck? Why would you fight that dude scared? You have to be in that dude's face. Like, you have to be in his face because, physics matter and physicality. Gustavo's neck is like a little neck. It's like my arm, size of my arm. Okay.
Villanueva.
So, yeah, Ike Villanueva. So, and Ike stayed away and tried to box. You're going to get fucking killed. I don't care who you are. That's like trying to box Mick Terrell. Are you stupid? Like, he's long. He's got long reach. He's precise. You're going to get picked up. You got to make it an ugly, dirty fight. And I don't know how well his chin is. Maybe it is tough, but I would love to challenge it. You know what I'm saying? Get inside and actually crack him and hit him and see what happens. Now, if you don't go anywhere, then, hey, it's going to be a long night for me. But you never know. You never know. If he goes, he goes. So, but yeah. So, yes, to answer the question, I would absolutely take that fight. Like I was saying earlier, I was offered to fight him on short notice. And I absolutely turned that shit down as fast as they brought it up to me. They're like, hey, short notice, you want to fight this guy? And I was like, not on my wildest dream. If I'm not in absolute confident shape, I would never get in there. And I pretty much at that point now in my career where I'm not going to do stupid shit. So I'm going to be in shape. I'm not going to fight, period. Because it's embarrassing. Going back, look at stuff. It's embarrassing, to see that none of these guys can hurt me. And I'm still hanging in there. So I'm just a fat dude that's got no conditioning. That's just a punching bag. But yet they can't put me away. Imagine if I could actually throw. Imagine if I had conditioning to actually respond to what was being done. That's how I look at it.
Are you, before we get to one more fan question, are you walking around significantly lighter right now? You look like you're in good shape right now. Are you like about 275 right now?
Not to
280.
This morning I woke up. No, I'm like 266 right now.
Oh wow, nice.
That was gonna be a big surprise when I get there, but I've got like a bunch of interviews, so people are gonna end up seeing that. Obviously I don't look as heavy And this
Right, you don't. Even in the face, you don't look as big as you were before. And like you said, you were just bloated and like out of
Yep.
shape, right?
Yeah.
So wow, good for you, man. Good for you. That's that once 266, and you said you were walking around 300 plus, 310, 35,
Yeah.
305.
So I would say it was like 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, whenever we signed the action. Like I said, this took fucking forever for the BKFC to put together. And I'm assuming they were holding it, but they didn't want to say anything because I know they were talking to Sam, they're talking to me, and we're both being drug out, since January. And so there was no point for me to, I got out of my BYB contract, because Mike allowed that to happen, and then I just sat there on my hands, and I was literally about to go back to BYB. I'm like, yo, these guys will fight me 3 times a year. You know what I'm saying? And if I come in shape, sky's the limit. And then next thing you know, it's just Murphy's Law. Next thing you know, Dave's texting me like, hey, I got something for you. I got Sam Shewmaker, Sturgis, don't say nothing. You down? I'm like, the fight doesn't do much for me, to be fair, as far as career-wise. Just because you beat somebody in dramatic fashion, it's not going to really boost me up the rankings per se or anything, but because of who Sam is and because of how tough he is and his legacy and what he's done, anybody and everybody can say the first fight was a fluke or, so you're heavyweights, that shit can happen. So if we can have a second fight that if it ends the same way that it ended the first time, then I guess it's not a fluke. But if we go 5 rounds and, I can put an ass whooping on him, you know what I'm saying, and survive, what he puts forth, then I think that'll bode well for me in future. No matter where I go, whatever fights I take, it'll help propel me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can totally see what you're saying. Like the first fight, that was like probably the best outcome that you could ever have hoped for. You come in there, you just knock the guy out clean.
Yeah.
Get over him, say your words. Everybody was waiting, watching the build up, the meme war, the back and forth, and it ended like that. So it was a huge statement. So yeah. Coming into this is like, how am I going to top that? Back and forth war. Do you really want a back and forth war? Yes and no, I would imagine. Like it's great afterwards, but during, I'm sure it's not the greatest.
Right.
But yeah, but here's the thing, you guys, I feel like you both have a perfect look to go and fight in Sturgis. Like that card, you've seen the card. It's filled with big guys, tattoos, gonna go in there and either knock each other out cold, tons of power on this card, and or just have this back and forth battle. And they put 2 really pretty scrappy chicks at the lead. It's going to be insane there. And just to preface this next question that Jason is asking, I feel like you kind of answered this in a way already, but this is like the beginning maybe of like your downward that you've been talking about, and now your comeback. And he's asking about the Frank Tate fight. What happened in the Frank Tate fight? I know we've talked.
It was an opponent change, right? There was an opponent. You weren't training to him.
Yeah, so I didn't know. First of all, to be honest, to tell you guys exactly how it went, I got a call from Nate and Dave in a mutual, what do you call it, teleconference call, whatever, and they're like, "Hey, DC's hurt, he's out. Do you still want to fight?" Well, fuck yeah, I'm in shape. I want to fight. That was my mindset. They're like, "Well, do you want us to tell you who you're fighting?" I'm like, "I don't give a fuck who you put in there. I'm ready to go." Stupid on my behalf, business wise, because I was getting ready for a guy that was my size, that was quick, my size, strong, but I didn't realize that Frank Tate, when they told me Frank Tate, I didn't know who he was, and I had to look him up. I'm like, oh shit, well, he was already on the card. He was supposed to fight Rumsey, the Rumsey guy, and so I was like, yeah. And then as we got into it more, realizing he had an 81-inch reach and all this shit, and he's in shape. Motherfucker's in shape. Like, and I knew the day, like they fucked with him in Alabama the day of the fight, and he had to go do a echocardiogram stress test, and he just breezed through that. And he did that the day of the weigh-ins, and he looked great. So, and I looked at him like, God dang, like this dude's in shape, and he's a good dude. I feel like I'm a good dude. So obviously we meshed well. But the bottom line is, I came out, I was relaxed, and I kind of feel like Coleman, Mark, and I talk about this. Like when Mark fought Randy, I got him ready for it, and he was in great shape, and he was ready to fight. And as soon as the stranglehold came on, the lights came off, and in the UFC, and then the lights came on, stranglehold started playing, Mark just mentally just kind of went somewhere else, and he just abandoned the whole fucking game plan and went. And I feel when Frank came in, they played Sweet Home Alabama, and I liked the song, but I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, it's a lot of motherfuckers in here that are for him. That's all I'll say. A lot of motherfuckers in here for him. And then it starts getting my head, and this big ass motherfucker gets in the ring. I'm like, God damn. So like, literally, my mind's not in the right spot. My kids came down, surprised me. I'm like, fuck. So if there was a night to not shit down your leg, it would have been that night. And it's the exact opposite. I went in there, and I mentally got out of sorts when Frank and I first had our exchange, and it basically was like, if you watched the very first knockdown, it wasn't a knockdown, but that ref called it a knockdown. He like shoulder shoved me, and it literally knocked me backwards down. And I'm like trying to complain. That's back when the UFC or the BKFC had steel bars. There was no padding. That bitch was just galvanized pipe, and the back of my head hit it. Boom! It's not an excuse. It was like dong, you know. You're like, oh, and you know me, I'm gonna get the fuck up. Like I'm not even thinking about that. Get up. And I'm trying to argue that it wasn't a knockdown, and immediately my mindset's just completely gone. And if you watch it, I don't really feel like I threw very much, and Frank did a phenomenal job knocking my block off when he could, and then basically laying on me like a wet blanket. Whenever we were close, he was like a wet blanket. He was like leaning over the fucking top, man. He could have been tickling the back of my knees, like the way he was laying on me. And I did not prepare for that. I did not train, and in doing so, you saw what happened. I mean, I got a giant fucking hematoma because, I mean, I could take his shots. He hit hard as shit. That's the first time I had ever been knocked down in a fight, legit knocked down. After the first knockdown, the next one was legit. Like, that shit rocked me. And I'm like, good God. I mean, I'm still cognitive and coherent. I knew what was going on, but I was like, I was a fucking heavy shot. And then from that point, I don't give a shit who you are. I'm a tough motherfucker. But at that point, I'm going, okay, I can't get hit with that again. And sure as shit, I think I took like 4 or 5 of those big shots from him. He's a strong ass motherfucker. So my brain's fucking in Tahiti, and my body's sitting in that ring in Alabama. So at the end of the day, if you want to know what happened, I got the shit knocked out of me. And as you can see, yes, everyone's like, oh, you're a quitter, because I literally looked at the ref. I don't know what round it was, 2 or 3, whatever. And the ref, I'm cognitive, and he looks at me, he goes, do you want to continue? And I looked at him. I said, are you fucking kidding me? Look at me. I said, I'm done. I'm done. Like, it's not my night. Is exactly what I said. It's not my night.
Right.
He's like, are you sure? I'm like looking like Quasimodo. I'm like, done. So, and then, Frank's a great dude. Like, we talked quite a bit after that. And, all his fans were absolutely awesome, walking out of the ring, tough ass white boy, as they say, walking out like, God damn, we ain't never seen him keep getting back up after Frank cracks him, but hopefully that answers that Jason's question.
I interviewed him that night, and you want to talk about the size, like you said, his size, he's massive.
Huge.
I didn't when we watched from outside the ring, we were in the audience as media, and we see how big he is in the ring.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'm fucking holding a microphone in front of him, and he's standing there, and this fucking dude is just a giant. And I remember the size of his hands. Like he's got big fucking clubs.
Yep.
let's just be honest. You said it yourself. He's a fucking monster.
No, he's in great shape. He's strong as fuck. He hits hard as hell, and it's just funny because, he showed up for my Sam fight, just out of the blue, showed up to, and say, hey, can I come with you guys? I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm cool with that. And he obviously walked me out when I fought Sam. The bottom line is just, he's a humble fighter like myself. It's just funny. He's just like, wow, you could have beat me if you would have just done this. Like what I did with Sam is what he changed. And it's funny, not many people know this. He changed our game plan backstage. And because backstage, the first fight with Sam, just because BKFC is Wild West, it was still out of control. So I'm like, I'm not going to get DQ'd. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rush him. I'll pick him up. I'm going to fucking slam his ass on the ground, let him know you're in there with someone different. Literally. And I'm not even playing. That's just God's honest truth. What I was going to do. I was going to body lock him. Boom, slam him. And Frank's like, I don't think you should do that. Like, don't do that.
Man.
So yeah, the 1-3. But that was Frank's thing. He's like, listen, if you would have hit through the 1-3 on me, he goes, because every time you throw, I'm nervous. He goes, and you throw that 1-3, he goes, you'll put him out. And like you can see after the fight, obviously I give him a big hug because it was, you know, it's not that we didn't work on that kind of stuff in camp, but it was literally freshly put in my mind by Frank, you know, that night walking out, because it was a pretty intense night, you know, the mentality around it. Like, I couldn't lose. Like, that's just my mentality. No matter what happened, I could not lose, because, you know, they want their sound bites and all this stuff. And I had gone pretty fucking over the top, that if I had lost, boy, I to this day, I'd still probably not be living it down, you know? So now, did I know it was going to be a knockout or anything? No, hell no. I mean, he ain't never been knocked. Like, he'd been knocked down, but it was because he was off balance by AJ. It wasn't because it was some power shot. So
Right.
this dude's never been knocked down, much less knocked out. So I'm going in there thinking, okay, I got to try to make him bleed, which I don't see him bleed very much in fights. Like, when he fought Joey, he bled a little bit, but I was like, damn, it's one of those things. I was like, I don't know, you know, as a person, like, you're mentally going into it going, it ain't never been done before, but I'm sure it's fucking a try.
Well, hey, man, you got a shout out over here on Instagram from Terp House Farm. Says, I was one of your main sponsors. I sat with your family. Much respect, OG. So shout out to Jay Davis and Terp House Farms over there.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, Josh, what is the end game here, man? Do you have your eyes set on? I'm not saying to look past Sam at all, but you're back now. Finally, you got this fight with Sam. You got a couple other interesting guys on that card yourself. You said Josh Watson's name earlier. You got Zach Kalmus on that card. Those are two very exciting heavyweights. Josh Watson being the heavy hitter, Kalmus being the dirty, fucking grimy heavyweight that makes every fight nasty. Either one of those two guys in your sights. What is the end game for you right now on this run with the BKFC?
Well, I would like the trajectory to head towards the belt, you know, and with the debacle that happened in California, I don't know how much it's gonna affect the BKFC and tie things up with, you know, like, what the fuck, they had like 7 guys pop. So there's 7 guys that got suspensions, and then Ben's involved in that. Ben suspended all of them. So does it slow the whole division down for 6-7 months until they get this going? You know, it looks like, you know, Mick's not going to fight until, you know, they're talking November, something like that. So if that's the case, then they're waiting for that suspension to come up. So for me, it's about being active. And, you know, the beautiful thing is, you know, as you said, you know, I'm blessed to be known in the sport, and I'm you know, I have opportunities everywhere. So I'm not stuck to just one promotion. If they don't want to, you know, if they want to put their feet in the sand and not move, as you guys said before, I'm not a young spring chicken. You know, I got to be able to fight and, you know, progressively move forward, either move forward or be done. So I'd rather, you know, get fights, move forward. And obviously I'd love to run it back with Mick. You know, Mick's my boy. He's like family. So it would just be fun. Mick and I would just be fun, you know, and Andy, his coach, they're like family. They're great people. So I almost guarantee that Mick would come in a lot leaner, a lot more in shape for that fight, knowing like our history. So that would be it. As far as, you know, Kalmus and Watson, good dude. It just doesn't make sense. You know, I don't know. Maybe you got to think. I mean, he's fighting a 1-0 dude or 0-1 guy. Like, they're not giving him stuff to build him. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean that disrespectfully, but at the end of the day, like, Josh would probably admit that as well. Like, these aren't top tier names. And as far as Kalmus, oh sure, Kalmus is just a tough son of a gun, but you gotta knock him out. You know, he's tough, and I like Kalmus. Or Zach. He's never done anything to me, but fighting wise, Kalmus is just going to be the guy that BKFC always put, like Nate's going to always put him on the card, like cards like this, to rile the fans up, get the crowds going because he's a crowd favorite. But you're not going to watch him fight top tier dudes. Like, that's my opinion. I could be dead ass wrong, and maybe next fight they'll prove me wrong. But if you look at his history and what his run, they just do shit to get, because he's crazy, he's wild, he's a fan favorite. As long as you don't step up a level, step that next level up of power, because Kalmus' style is kind of like Joey Beltran. As soon as Joey actually fought a big puncher that didn't want to sit there and box with him, he went to sleep. So I feel Zach's in the same, maybe might not go to sleep, but he'll get fucked up. He'll be that tough motherfucker that keeps trying to get up with his face all mangled up, you know what I'm saying? So neither one of those guys I don't think are really, in my opinion, are on the schedule per se. I would say like I wanted to fight Ben. I wanted to fight, this one little Cuban dude who's really a 205. I don't remember his name. It's funny. I keep watching him, and I think Connor's mentioned his name a couple times because he's exciting. But this dude's a fucking midget.
Perdomo?
Yeah,
Perdomo?
he's a fucking midget. He's a 205.
Perdomo, yep.
That fights like really small heavyweights, and he's a small heavyweight. He's like 5'10". Put him in there with a real heavyweight. You get all that shit that he does. What are you gonna do, bro, when you hit somebody and they don't go somewhere and they hit you back just as hard? Remember, he's not been hit. All these guys, like that's like the biggest thing in bare knuckle. You can be the biggest, baddest, tough guy until you fight someone that's not afraid of you. Until you fight someone that's going to stand in front of you and actually exchange with you. So that's why, like with Trulio, I have mad respect for him. I think he's a great tactician. I think he's a great fighter. But I'll always have doubts until I see someone stand in front of him and give him that opposition, give him that struggle, and him fight through it. And then I'm like, all right, that's the real deal. Like he's legit.
Real quick fun fact about Zach Kalmus, and he was the one who was supposed to fight Frank Tate at BKFC 17, and you fought him. That was supposed to be Zach Kalmus, and he ended up fighting Bobo O'Bannon instead.
Oh, really?
And that's when he got like his teeth knocked out, and he sat up like the Undertaker. They got the crowd going. That was like the fight that like got the crowd popping off, and it never calmed down for the rest of the night.
Right. Hey, I mean, you get those fighters. You get those kind of fighters. You know, like I mean, the main event. I think that Hart's just on a different level. The only person that can beat her is Christina. It's just my opinion. I think that's the only chick that beats her, and this gets Christina's just on a fucking different atmosphere than other people. But
She is.
But Britt's fucking ridiculous. I mean, she's gone 5 rounds with Ferreira, like 5 rounds competitively, and tries to stay in there. You tell me.
Let's be honest too, Josh. That second fight with Christine was pretty fucking close, dude.
Right.
I mean, depending on who you talk
Until
to,
the end of the fight.
Right. There were
like,
people.
Round one it was kind of close, and then towards the end of the fight, the shots from Christine were starting to add up. Even though she wasn't like outstriking her like greatly in the beginning, like the power shots were really starting to beat her up. And definitely, if that fight were to continue, it would have been kind of bad.
You got to think
keep up with her.
Well, you got to think Britt's fucking a natural 115 as well.
Yeah.
So she's fighting up a weight class, and she was hanging with Christine. I'm telling you, and it's no disrespect to Taylor because she's always been cool as fuck to me. Like cool, but there's a difference between being cool with someone and just reality. The reality is, I think it's going to be an ugly ass night, and I think Britt's gonna like. I just honestly think she'll just put it on her unless she, doesn't show up or something. But that's and it's not disrespect. It's just. You got to look at resumes.
Facts.
You got to look at resumes.
Facts. I actually had a conversation with somebody 2 days ago at work. I was actually one of the guys from our unit who's actually going to be out at Sturgis. This guy Mike was asking me about the main event, and he's asking me about Britain, and he doesn't know. He's getting into the sport right now, and he's like, "Yeah, she's got a couple losses." I'm like, "Her couple losses are to the fucking best in the world," and she is a natural 115er, just like you just said, Josh. And I was like, when she would weigh in to fight at 125, she's fighting a girl that cuts from 140 down to 125. And Britt's coming in there at 122 and a half.
Right.
And fight night, hydrated Britain is still 123. And fucking the girl she's fighting is rehydrated and back up to 139, 140 again. It's like, she is one of the toughest fucking people pound for pound in that sport for sure.
Yeah, she's definitely, she's definitely tough, and she's one of those. She's a goofball, kind of like myself. Being goofy, and in this sport is a benefit. It's definitely a blessing to be goofy because you don't realize it if you're, like the Christina fight. You're outgunned, you're outweighed, but in your mind you're goofy, going, "Fuck it, I can still do this." And you show up and still do it. Now, it might not get the result that you wanted, but you get mad respect, and people go, okay. And then now that she gets to fight a weight class that she's supposed to be in, shit.
Yeah.
I
right
think
at home.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and you never know people's mental positions and where they are mentally. So, the fight with Taylor and Christina, you gotta take that out of you do, but you don't. You take it out of there at first because you're like, maybe because she said mentally she had a lot of things going on, and I understand as a fighter that can do it, but just the beginning like firepower that happened. Taylor started that fight real quick. If you remember, she popped Christina a couple times, pop, and Christina basically looked at her and basically like, oh, it's like that. Like, I was trying to carry your ass. I got you now. And then all of a sudden Christina starts putting on her, and then she's like, oh shit. Like, You didn't realize, like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't realize you're trying to ding dong ditch people. You didn't realize you just opened the door, some big ass motherfucker that can sprint a 40 and 4.7. He gonna catch your ass. You know, that's basically what she found out. And she found out, and getting, you know, having to quit like that could ruin you as a fighter. And she's done a very good job of coming back and being confident, coming back to fight. And it's good that she's fighting in her weight class. I just think that this is probably Britt's fight, hands down. Like, you know, if you look at the fight card, it's going to be amazing. But I think that you'll definitely, the real fight of question on the main card would be like Sam and I. Like, yep, I starched them to begin with, but as we know, we're heavyweights. That shit can happen to anybody. But look at our resumes, look at our records, how much experience we have. We literally have the most experience on that card, and you know Sam's not going to make that same mistake coming in and, you know, come to play with me. He's not going to come play and be complacent. He's going to be sharp. He's going to be quick, and you know, cardio is the big thing for me. That's my big downside. So that's why I'm here, to make sure that if this big dog keeps trying to, you know, take me to deep water, I can tread with him at the same time, you know.
Josh, man, we're so excited to have you back, and hearing that you're out in Denver fighting at elevation like that, and you're walking around 40 pounds lighter this time. It's a different you for sure. I could tell just by talking to you. It's a different you. You look great, and you sound dialed in right now. And Mike and I will be out there. We haven't been to a live event in a minute. Like, when was the last one, Mike? I don't even know. It's been a minute because you're a military guy. Summertime is when all the training events start going on, and like we've been fucking dealing with Army shit for the last couple months. And I took a long vacation with my kids and my wife. So now it's back to business. It's back to business for you. It's back to business to us. We're going to see you out there. We'll be out there August 2nd for the weigh-ins. I cannot wait for this.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I think before we let you go, this is are you fighting? I think you kind of answered this already. Are you fight to fight, one contract or one fight at a time?
Oh yeah. I made sure. Listen,
yeah,
with
not locking yourself into anything right now.
No, especially with the FTC jumping in, all these non-competes are no longer valid. Shit, like you're gonna have to actually, you know. And don't get me wrong, BKFC's a lot of people don't understand. Like everyone's like, oh, Burns got kicked out of the BK. No, you don't understand. I had my sports attorney, Dave's attorney, and me had a couple 4-way phone calls and discussed this before I departed. And the only reason we departed is because Mike Vasquez from UIB had put down a great offer for me with Mark Godbeer. And that was a fight I was trying to get all the time in the UK. So we made the decision, instead of sitting for 6 to 8 months in the BKFC and not doing anything until they figured their shit out. We're like, we're going to go do this. And then Dave was fucking super cool. He's like, yeah, man, I want you to go. And at the time, Godbeer was still under contract. And Dave goes, I'm not even going to fuck with it. I'm just going to let him fight just so you can fight, Josh. Like, he was cool with it. People don't realize that. So, but, you know, as far as fighting, I'm going to take the best opportunities that come forward. And I love the fight, the one fight deal. You know, I have a feeling maybe not. Maybe I'm talking out my ass and they won't like what I'm saying right now. But I have a feeling after this fight, by the way I look cosmetically, by the way that I perform, by the way that I am in general, they'll probably try to lock me down. And at that time, you know, bro, what is this, my 16th, 17th fight? Like, you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to step up. You know, no more of these baby offers and things of that nature, because I've got good offers elsewhere. And it's just, I love Dave. Dave's always done me right, you know. And everyone's like, well, how do you like Dave and how do you like Mike? Bro, both guys are fucking top notch to me and great dudes. And the bottom line is business. So whoever offers me the best deal, that's where I'm going to go and stay. And I'm, like you guys said, I'm 46. So I want a title shot. I want a title run. I don't deserve a shot right now. I got to get a couple wins of top tier wins and get myself in position. But I need to have those fights to put myself in that position. And if you're going to hamstring me and not allow me to have those fights and just, oh, well, it's an honor to be here. Now, fuck that. Like, I remember I signed with UFC and I walked away from that with Gabriel Gonzaga to fight for Bellator because it was a better opportunity business-wise. I'm not going to just stick around just because of the name. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm just saying. So
we get it, dude. Totally.
Yeah.
Hey, man. We've kept you for quite a bit of time here, and you've said I think we've covered a lot of stuff with you tonight, and it's great to have you back and great to get to talk to you again. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we wrap it up with you?
Nothing off my chest, man. Hey, we talked about everything. I'm looking forward to it. I think this fight with Sam is going to be good. It's going to be fun. You know, we're doing the meme wars a little bit, having fun with that. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you hate the guy. It's great. Like, actually, my whole career, I've never gone in angry to a fight. That was the first fight that I had actually gone into angry per se. And I don't like it. I don't want to be in that position. I want to be of clear mind. And the more in shape that I am and the better condition I am, the better I feel. So, and I feel great. And it's just going to be about respect. It's going to be about respect. And, you know, I can tell you now, no matter who wins, I can see us both sitting down. I don't drink, but sitting down, maybe getting a steak or something after the fight and being cool with one another either way. You know what I'm saying? And if Sam does, you know, some reason somehow beats me, common sense would play the fact of the rubber match.
Yeah.
1-1, like you got to play that third. You got to do that third match, you know. And then at that point, it's legacy. You know, you're trying to establish and, you know, build that legacy more. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, but nothing. I guess nothing unsaid.
Love it, Josh. Mike, you got anything else for him?
Well, I can't let you go without showing this picture because Big Ben wouldn't let it go. So he forwarded me this picture because he loves you so much. So he's been in the comments and saying, Josh, we got off on the wrong foot, but I love you. I don't know what he's talking about, but hey, it's okay.
I don't know
either.
You.
And he said something like that, but he said, but I love you, man. So there you guys are in New York up at the Seneca Allegheny Casino the first time they were up there. I remember that. That's when Dustin Pegg was wearing the Ali G swimsuit. To remember that thing, the fucking G string.
I'm not saying shit on that. So he didn't do us. He didn't do us white boys any favor. I'll put you that way. He didn't do it. So
awesome. Hey. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight, Josh. Yep. And best of luck to you on your return to the squared circle. I couldn't be more excited about this event, and we will see you out there. Mike, what do you got to say?
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. We will see you soon. And for everybody else, stay tuned. We will be right back after this.
Later Josh.
Man. I guess.
See ya. It's good to see Josh back. I mean, that was a hell of a conversation. We covered a lot of things with him tonight. And
yes, we did.
The return fight is I believe the perfect one for him and Sam to return to. You know what I mean? He's fighting a guy he's gotten a victory over. Sam is probably never been able to let that one go. You know what I mean? That didn't go any way that he wanted it to go that night. You know what I mean? So it gives Sam an opportunity to get something back that he fucking fumbled. It gives Josh a good chance to get another win on his return and get him right back into the mix of things in the heavyweight division. I love it, man. I love the booking, dude. And I love the card. I love the card. Joe Creer against Joe Riggs in the co-main event. Josh Burns and Sam Shewmaker in the feature bout. And after we watch those two, we get to see Taylor and Britton go at it. It's a fucking great night, Mike.
It is a great night. It is a great night. Gabriel Freire is coming back. You got Calmus again on the card. Larimore Perez. Atchison's coming back against Lozano. Watson, Roundstone. I mean, come on. Josh Dyer's on the card. It's going to be a good card. It's going to be a good card.
Dude, I completely even forgot about Josh Dyer. No offense to Dyer. I fucking forgot.
He's in there. He is in there.
Jesus.
Not too excited about who his opponent is, and no offense to his opponent, but I just think that Josh is on a different level and should be fighting different people. That is my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions. So I don't know. That's one of those fights where like I don't make picks, but Josh is gonna win that fight. I can't.
Right.
It's like such an obvious one to me.
The guy he's fighting is an older gentleman, yes, but the dude does have a lot
He's
of
got an
fights.
extensive background.
He
but
has an extensive background, and he has won a lot of fights in his career.
give
So
him some props for stepping in there with Josh Dyer
yeah,
at this point in Dyer's career. That is some
hell
balls.
yeah.
You got to take some balls to get in the ring with
And
that
Joe
guy.
Creer, and we talked to Creer earlier tonight, dude. You guys take a go take a look at Creer's career. He's a stud, and he's looked great in his last couple fights. And you know, Joe Riggs is a big name. He goes out there, he wins this one. That makes it, like I said to him, 3 wins in a row in under 12 months, in 3 wins in a row in 11 months. That's what it would be for Creer. 3-0 in 11 months. That's a nice little run.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Riggs is a big enough name to get him into a conversation for a big fight, like a 205, maybe Creer and Camozzi. You know what I mean? Like who knows? Maybe he fights somebody like that next, or maybe he gets one of these top 5 guys in the 205 division. The 205 division needs some life, and I think that he could be a good guy to have in there for sure. Tomorrow night we got a big show, Mike.
And add an A in Creer, and you got Career. So how about that?
We got a big show.
You said it. Hey, look at who it is in the comments. I
Oh,
love you
Louis.
guys. Louis Lopez. We love you too, Louis. What is up? Love to see you get back in there.
Howie says Dyer will be in kill mode because he has a point to prove.
Yes,
and
he
wants
does.
that title shot. You're right.
Before we move too fast, that transition that we just played for everybody watching, don't forget tomorrow. 6:30
a.m.
Eastern time, live.
6:30 a.m.
It's because they
So
are.
I'm watching that on my way to work.
Yes, I will be watching it on my way to work. Can't miss it. I hope everybody in the van is ready to listen to this, because I am on a rideshare van, and people are going to love to listen to this press conference. They're not going to care. But yeah, so everybody tune in if you're a first shift worker. And if not, then you better set your alarm and wake up, because you can't miss that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in California, you get to wake up even earlier. You get to get up at 3:30 in the morning to watch it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
Get up at 3:30. You're gonna do it.
And yeah, Connor's gonna be there. It's gonna be, and they're gonna be announcing some more fights for that card. It's gonna be a big press conference. So tomorrow night, regular time, 9 p.m., we're going to have 2 more guests, and we're going to do some outside the circle as well. But before we do the outside the circle tomorrow night, we talked about both of these people tonight. Josh Stay Down Watson is going to start off the show for us tomorrow night. And we are going to have Britain. What is she, like 10, 11.0, 12.0? I don't know. What is she? Britain,
I don't know.
BKFC strawweight reigning defending champion, unbeaten at 115 pounds, putting her title on the line against Taylor Starling August 3rd. Britain Hart will be on the show tomorrow night. So make sure you guys are tuned in. We're going to give away some stuff, and we might give away another one of those posters tomorrow night. I don't know, Mike. I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a poster
that looks like, well, hold on. Let me find this other one. This one. Poster that looks like that.
Oh, yep. It's going to look like that. It's going to have a signature in front of Britain. It's going to have a signature in front of Taylor, and we're going to give that away tomorrow
Something
night.
Like this.
Yes, it's going to be that exactly. Yeah. Actually, it's going to be that fucking poster, a 24x36 poster. If you didn't get the win last week, Wesley Kill Eagle, you cannot win another one tomorrow night. If you didn't get the chance to win last week, you could take one of those home tomorrow night. What do you think about that there, Mikey?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I did see in the comments, we have Calvin Cunningham, and he brings up a great point that Dave did say that he was going to announce something, and he did talk about a broadcast deal. So we have heard this before. So I hope that this can finally be told. I cannot wait. This will be her 12th fight. Yeah. So would it be 12.0, or would it be 11.0? I don't know. Does she usually do the fight before that she's that, or is the fight?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll ask her tomorrow night, dude.
Monica, help me.
We
will ask her. I did it before the show. Yeah. Like, is her, if she's 3-0 or whatever, is she going to be 4.0 in the fight, or is she 3.0 going into the fourth fight?
You're right. She must be
I don't know.
11.
I'm trying
It
to
must
think.
be 11 point because she wasn't 1.0 going into her
Going into
first.
the first fight, right? That's what I'm saying. So I don't.
You're
Like, that's what I'm
right.
trying to
So
figure
she
out here.
must be 11 point.
Yeah, because
This
she's
is
successfully gone through 11
Yeah.
fights, right? She's gone through 11. But anyways,
numbers are hard.
those are
Mike.
for smart people. I'm not wicked smart right now. I'm gonna
it's
move on.
Too much numbers.
I could
She's
easily just go to the
11.
last
Big
fight.
Ben says 11.0, and I
Take his
believe
word
Big
for it,
Ben.
and if he's wrong, we'll take a % off
Yeah, Big
of his
Ben.
ownership.
If you know
So-
what, if you're right about that, you'll have to ask her. Yes, see, Monica's saying we're gonna have to ask her. You don't even know Big Ben. Big fucking little guy.
But
anyways, hey, awesome show tonight. Big thank you to Joe Creer. Big thank you to Josh Burns. Welcome back to him. Best of luck to both of those gentlemen on August 3rd in Sturgis. Shout out to our sponsors one more time. Buckedup.com. Go to Bucked Up. Use promo code Mike and Mish 20. Get 20% off your total purchase. They actually, hey, listen, we like Bucked Up so much. I'll tell you that they're having like a 50% off called Buckmas sale right now. I like Christmas, Buckmas.
Christmas in July.
Listen, you want to get, I so wholeheartedly love these products, and they keep me in the gym. They keep me feeling great in the gym. Their supplements are so goddamn good. You don't even have to use our promo code today. Get over to buckedup.com and use the save 50 promo code and get 50% off your total fucking purchase. But only do that now, okay? For the rest of the time, use promo code Mike and Mish 20 and help us out, because they help us out. And if you do that, you help us out, and everybody fucking wins. And big shout out to Dynamic Life as well. Get over to @LiveDynamic, LIV Dynamic on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. Become a patient in just under 20 seconds. Get your life right, man. Get your weight loss in check, anti-aging, become a sexual dynamo with the Mike and Mish stack, and get on board with the Rasha revolution. Get over to the Rasha.com or @Rasha Revolution on Instagram. Hit the link in their bio and learn all about how to get your mind in championship mode like Christine Faria and other fighters have been doing right along. Mike, I think
Gotta
that's
get
enough.
in that Raja Dome. I hope that they bring a thing to Sturgis, because I want to get back
So do
in
I.
the Raja Dome, and I need to be in there for a long time.
I want to do a half an
Coach.
hour at least. Well, we did
I
12.
gotta get in there and just do my thing.
We only did 12 minutes.
12 minutes, yes.
We need at least
30 I did 12
minutes
of this ain't. I did in 12 minutes. I did leading into it. I did about an hour of this ain't gonna work, and then I did another like 8 minutes out of the 12 of this ain't doing shit. And then I started getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got out, that day was the craziest day. I mean, just
everything was going well for us.
It was absolutely insane. And I kept saying it all day. I was like, I'd go over to Kyle and go, that was the Raja, man. That was the Raja, dude. And he would be like, I don't know, maybe it was. And then I said that so many times that day and all night too, that we were finally just like, are you freaking kidding me? We were at the comedy club in LA, the Comedy Store in LA, with a bunch of our buddies, Absent-Minded, Falcon, they were there. A bunch of people were there. We were having a blast. And somebody walked up to us and said, hey, I know you guys. Mike and Mish, you guys are cover BKFC. And we looked at each other like, did these guys put you up to saying that shit? Did you really just come up to us in the middle of LA at a Comedy Store where, you know, tons of famous comedians came out and stuff, and like all of a sudden this guy just recognized it was the weirdest thing ever. But anyways, that's just one thing.
It was the Bro Bible guy.
Listen,
it was the Bro Bible guy.
Right? Bro Bible.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
so
the dude
you know
that, like,
what?
runs
And amongst
Bro
other
Bible.
things happened. And
yeah,
hey, get in that Raja Dome.
Big Ben's in the comments saying he did 24 minutes, and he says it's the real deal. You get a championship mindset when you get in.
Yeah, Swervo was there. Swervo, right. Swervo Cuts, not to be confused with Swervo Cruz. That guy Swervo Cruz owes me some money.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging with us for an hour and 46 minutes tonight. Make sure you tuned in tomorrow night when we got Josh Watson and Britton Hart. We're going to give away a poster and hit outside the circle. Mike, What do you got to say?
Peace.
Peace.